So today I sent either the fourth or fifth letter to the Executive Committee of the Circuit Court of Cook County. The Chief Judge of the Circuit Court of Cook County is a man named Timothy Evans. I believe he's been in this job for about 20 years, which gives me a sense that he must be pretty sketchy, but probably pretty smart too. I've tried to reach out to Chief Judge Evans and the rest of the Executive Committee of the Circuit Court of Cook County about 3 or 4 times previously. And today I sent them another letter. And I wanted to make a video about it because one reason for writing these letters is to make sure that Timothy Evans will never be able to say that I didn't tell him. And neither will any other member of the Executive Committee. It includes all of the presiding judges, including acting presiding judge Scannicchio, who is now heading the Domestic Relations Division and is ostensibly in charge of appointees like Michael Bender and the Associate Judge Robert Johnson and his clerk Kay Mason, although I believe Kay Mason would be an employee of Iris Martinez. I'm not sure how it works. I made sure Iris Martinez knows long ago. My main reason for letting them know that employees under their direct administrative authority using computers and computer servers, staff, and the court building that is under their administrative authority to commit felony acts of fraud against me and to conspire in money laundering, bribery, and other racketeering activities is because I want them to stop those crimes. It seems like a pretty simple ask if you work at an international house of pancakes and one of the waitresses is robbing people with a gun at their tables. You would have a right to say to the manager, hey, could you ask Lois to stop committing armed robbery because it's not nice. You would expect at an IHOP that the manager would stop the crime because it's not in IHOP's interest to have crimes committed on its premises. But in a court system, it's a little bit different. What Timothy Evans wants to say and what he does by means of people under his employment is, first of all, say, no, I don't know what you're talking about. But that's not going to work. If you want plausible deniability, you're going to have to buy me a drink and finger me in the parking lot first. So I'm not giving him that. So he knows. So the way that he moves on to the next level of evasion is to say, oh, I'm sorry, hon. I can't stop that because I can't interfere with another judge's case, which would be the same as the IHOP manager saying, oh, sorry, hon. Every waitress has a different style. If someone wants to pull out a piece and rob you, then, that's just, I can't be micromanaging, can I? But the thing is, they're all members of the bar, they're all trained in law, and they all tell other people who appear before them to say, oh, gee, I didn't know it was against the law. They say, tough shit, you're supposed to know it's against the law. So they should also take that advice for themselves. And when they observe or facilitate obvious crime, they should stop doing so. So that was the main point of my letter. But there are also some technical legal reasons down the road, I guess, when I'm recovering damages, which are that basically it's very, very hard to sue a municipal employee. It's very, very hard to sue a municipal entity. But I anticipate suing individuals, if not the circuit court itself, because of the large number of U.S. Marshals who are assigned to protect me. I know that they're investigating people who are much more important than my dim-witted ex-husband. So that makes me think at some point, people are going to be held responsible. So there are a few different ways you can get somebody like Chief Judge Evans liable. You can get into his personal pocket or the pocket of the circuit court. And one of those is to show that there's an ongoing custom or practice that is against the law. I believe this is something that could be shown because in the Circuit Court of Cook County, there is a special custom, and this is, I would not say that any individual attorney working in Chicago or a member of the Illinois Bar has ever told me this, but I will say that Every attorney, including judges, who is a member of the Illinois Bar, has told me this, that guardian ad litems, or GALs, decide how divorce cases go. They decide who gets children. I've been told repeatedly by every lawyer I've ever spoken to in Chicago, GALs tell the judge what to do. And this is also part of the patronage system, because the judge who is currently defrauding the court and me and retaliating against me for reporting his prior crimes, Robert Johnson, is an associate judge. So he wants to be a circuit court judge. So his political patron is Michael Bender, the guardian ad litem. And that's how a case can get fixed, because it's pretty hard to give cash to a judge. But guardians can be appointed, trustees can have trustees. There are a lot of ways to pay crooked attorneys who are working as guardian ad litems, which is why Michael Bender drives a Jaguar. And so Michael Bender gets the money, and he tells Robert Johnson what to do, which is how he got the money. He got the money for fixing the case. And then Robert Johnson still believes, because he doesn't believe me when I tell him that he's under federal investigation, he believes he'll become a circuit court judge. That's the patronage aspect. That's a unique custom that is not written in the Illinois law governing guardian ad litems. The law governing guardian ad litem says that they are appointed to write a report during a proceeding. And Michael Bender was appointed after I was divorced. So, spoiler alert, there is no proceeding, and there will never be a report, because no case was ever started, so no case will ever end. That is what I call the dystopian clusterfuck aspect of this judicial abuse. Now, another way to look at that, and this gets back to Timothy Evans, is if there isn't a case and Robert Johnson is using color of law to do things like order that I don't see my children without a trial or a motion, then he's just committing crimes. Because sometimes it can be hard to figure out if a judge is acting personally or in their professional capacity. But for the last year, there really haven't been any cases. If you would say, Megan, when does your case end? I would say never, because it hasn't started. And yet, there are court dates and there are appointees. That's another aspect of the dystopian clusterfuck. But my point is, if there's no case and the actions are retaliatory, then they're crimes being committed by an employee under the supervision of Timothy Evans. So one of the other ways that you can get at a municipal official, like Timothy Evans, is to say that there was an ongoing pattern of bad behavior. In my case, felony racketeering crimes, including money laundering, identity theft, wire fraud, or in Robert Johnson's case, conspiracy in these crimes, which is the same, bribery, retaliation toward a federal witness, and intimidation of a federal witness. Those are the crimes that I believe are most relevant. So just like in the IHOP, you're not supposed to let the waitress commit armed robbery on the patrons. In a court, you're not supposed to let judges and clerks commit felonies against women who are in the court and aren't even technically litigants. That's kind of doubly a problem. So that was my main goal in writing the letter, because you can also establish liability. And the funny thing is that I don't want the liability. I don't want to sue them. I want the crimes to stop. I want my kids back. But they seem bound and determined to keep doubling down on crime. I don't know when this ends. I don't know how it ends. But at the end of the day, nobody will say that Timothy Evans or any of the honorable judges sitting on the executive committee of the Circuit Court of Cook County didn't know exactly what was happening to me, and nobody will be able to say that as esteemed members of the illustrious Illinois bar, that they didn't know they were witnessing, perpetuating, and facilitating crime.